5 by 12 Frontier Force Regiment, the Guides Infantry, later 2 Frontier Force Regiment in the 48 Kashmir War. The battalion was part of 102 Brigade at Bannu. However, the unit was transferred to 101 Brigade at Kohat. Soon it was deployed in Kashmir in April 1948. As per the paper history, the battalion was moved to Kashmir and distributed over a wide area with a company at Kohala Bridge, a company at Muzaffarabad, a company at Domail Bridge, and a company at Teetwal. As you can see, the battalion was distributed over a wide area, a company at Kohala Bridge, a company at Domail Bridge, as you can see, a company at the Gadi Habibullah Bridge, as you can see, a company at Teetwal, widely divided in April-May 1948, holding a wide area, mostly bridges and communications, and the only company being in real action at Teetwal on the far northeast end of the Kashmir War. The official history described sending a company to Teetwal as a measure by 5 by 12 FF Regiment Guides. At this time, 10 Brigade was in charge of operations in Kashmir in both Jhelum and Kishan Ganga Valley. The brigade was commanded by Brigadier Haji Iftikhar Ahmed. However, Gracie did not have faith in his capability to do both the tasks. So 101 Brigade, which was commanded by Brigadier Akbar Khan Pareech Khel, who Gracie already knew, as Gracie was his GOC in Burma and had recommended him for Victoria Cross, and actually Akbar was awarded a DSO under Gracie's command. So Gracie had great faith in Akbar. So he brought 101 Brigade specially to Jhelum Valley because Akbar was commanding it. And Gracie felt that the task was very difficult in Jhelum, so only Akbar could do it. These matters were discussed with General Akbar Khan in various interviews when he was my aunt's neighbor in Karachi in DHF Phase 2, and with Brigadier Sadiq Satti, who knew the whole conduct of operations very, very intimately and was good friend of Akbar. On 14th May 1948, 2 companies of 5 by 12 FF Regiment Guides were deployed in Hattiyan, Chenari area and Jhelum Valley, held by 101 Brigade. When 10 Brigade was assigned area of Kishan Ganga River in May 1948, Charlie Company of 5 by 12 FF Regiment was placed under its command. At this stage, 3 other companies of 5 by 12 FF were still under command 101 Brigade. So 5 by 12 FF was divided between 2 brigades, 3 companies under 101 Brigade and 1 company under 10 Brigade. These were the 2 companies at Chenari, Hattiyan and 1 at Muzaffarabad. 2 companies of 5 by 12 FFR were deployed at Chitriyan on 23rd May 1948 and played an important role in stopping Indian advance. As you can see, they were deployed at Chitriyan, north of the Pandu Massif, as the map shows. As Indian summer offensive starts in May 1948, Azads and irregulars withdraw, leaving a vacuum north of Jhelum River, and 2 companies of 5 by 12 FFR are deployed at Chitriyan, while 4 by 10 Baluch is deployed on line Gujar Bandi Kathai. As you can see, 4 by 10 Baluch is deployed in the main Jhelum Valley, and 2 companies of 5 by 12 FF are deployed north of Pandu Massif at Chitriyan, and of course they play a very important role in stopping the Indian summer offensive. As you can see, 3 Indian battalions are advancing, 1 by 13 FF Rifles is south of River Jhelum. Now, one of these two companies at Chitriya was withdrawn on night 24-25 May 1948 and sent to Titwal and thus placed under command the newly inducted 10 Brigade. The remaining company 5/12 FFR Guides was placed under command 4/10 Baluch and deployed in defence line at Nardajian. As you can see, they were placed under command 4/10 Baluch. Now, map showing lone company of 5/12 FFR Guides under command 4/10 Baluch at Nardajian from 25th May 1948. As you can see, Nardajian is north of the 4/10 Baluch deployment, and this lone company was placed under command 4/10 Baluch. As you can see, while 2/12 FFR is in the reserve, 2/1 Punjab under the famous Azam Khan military cross is at Nangatak. 4/13 FF Rifles is facing the Kafir Khan range. 1/13 FF Rifles is south of River Jhelum, and 2/13 FF Rifles is further south. As you can see, this is the situation on 25th May 1948. On page 177, official history stated that Company Guides Infantry was at Nardajian, but on page 182 states that it was deployed in defence at Bandi Sayyida, a little north of Nardajian. As you can see, Bandi Sayyida is further north of Nardajian. As per PIFR history, Bravo Company of this battalion was guarding Dumail Muzaffarabad bridges, was also sent to Titwal and thus placed under command 10 Brigade. PIFR history of Lieutenant General Atikur Rahman claims that earlier only Alpha Company of 5/12 FFR was at Titwal. However, December 1970 published Pakistan Army official history specifically states that Charlie Company of 5/12 FF Regiment Guides was also at Titwal when the Indian 163 Brigade attacked it in May 1948. When news of advance of 163 Indian Brigade reached the Pakistan Army General Headquarters at Rawalpindi, Charlie Company 5/12 FFR was placed under command 10 Brigade and Kishan Ganga Valley was taken away from area of responsibility of 101 Brigade and assigned to 10 Brigade. As you can see, now a boundary is drawn. Kishan Ganga is assigned to 10 Brigade and 101 Brigade is only assigned the Jhelum Valley. As you can see, Charlie Company is already deployed at Titwal, while you can see Alpha and Delta Company 5/12 and Battalion Headquarters are still deployed in 101 Brigade area. One company of the battalion under Major A.A. Sheikh is in Muzaffarabad area. As you can see, in order to coordinate and integrate the actions of the two companies placed under command and ad hoc battalion headquarters sent from 101 Brigade under the battalion's second in command Major Khalili to Titwal sector. Now, Titwal is held by only Charlie Company 5/12 FF when Indian 163 Brigade attacked it on 23rd May 1948. As you can see, Charlie Company of 5/12 FF is holding a very wide frontage. As you can see, is something like 10 to 12 miles, with north being at Chonj and the south being, as you can see, on the southern extreme of Pir Sahaba Ridge. And at this time the Indian 163 Brigade attacks, and as the Pakistani official history noted, the brigade commander Harbaksh Singh rather foolishly orders a halt of 48 hours, 2 days, So he loses the opportunity to change history, as remarked by Pakistani official history of 1970. There is a variation in the above mentioned claim also, as 1970 official history claims that 5/12 FF regiment troops arriving at Titwal were functioning under the battalion's commanding officer, Lieutenant Colonel Karim Dad. However, on page 147, official history credits Major Khalili with commanding both companies of 5/12 FF Regiment Guides. 5/12 FF Regiment Guides' first battle with Indian 163 Brigade took place on 25th May 1948, when, as per the official history, an Indian unit had crossed the Kishan Ganga, attacked point 7229, being held by a lone platoon of Charlie Company 5/12 FF Regiment Guides, along with a platoon of 4/16 Punjab. As you can see, Indian 163 Brigade unit attacks point 7229 held by platoon 5/12 FF Regiment and a platoon of 4/16 Punjab, and forces them to withdraw towards Khatimbal and Chogali. As you can see, it is one Madras attacking, and of course, what could two platoons do? So Indians forced them to flee towards Chogali and Khatimbal. As you can see, these two platoons were forced to withdraw from point 7229 and withdrew towards Chogali and Khatimbal, as my hand drawn map illustrates. As per official history, Bravo Company of 5/12 FF Regiment from guides under Major A. Sheikh arrived from Muzaffarabad to reinforce Charlie Company of the same battalion, less a platoon at Khatimbal, north of River Kashan Ganga. Major Khalili played a most active role in containing Indians occupying point 7229, and as per official history launched various unsuccessful attacks on point 7229. The reason for failure of these attacks, as per official history, was lack of artillery support. 300 Masouds and 150 Afridis who had arrived in the area were also placed under command Major Khalili. Meanwhile, platoon 4/16 Punjab, which was present in this area, was now withdrawn south of River Kishan Ganga and rejoined its parent battalion, while two companies, less a platoon of 5/12 FF Regiment guides, were north of Kishan Ganga River. One platoon of the same battalion 5/12 FF under Jamadar Dost Muhammad was in Rich Margali, the most central feature of this Pir Sahaba Ridge. Jamadar Dost Muhammad was killed in action when Richmar Gully was attacked and captured by the Indians on 31st May 1948. During early June, the brigade was reorganized, and the areas of responsibility of various units are as shown in the map below. As you can see, reorganized 10 Brigade defensive position. As you can see, two companies of 5/12 FF guides are holding area north of River Jhelum, facing the east, opposite point 9444 and 7229. 500 Masouds and 150 Afridis are holding the far north Chogali area, as you can see, and till the western bank of Kishan Ganga River bend. 4/16 Punjab is holding the central part south of River Kishan Ganga, and 3/12 FFR under Colonel Azizuddin is holding the southern part of the area south of Kishan Ganga River, the most difficult and mountainous part. As you can see, on 10 June 1948, Major Khalili, commanding two companies of 5/12 FF guides, was ordered by brigade headquarters to attack point 7229 from the west, while the tribals were to attack from the north. Now Major Khalili with his two companies succeeded in capturing point 7229, but was forced to withdraw when the Indians counterattacked in great number. As you can see, 0.7229, two companies of 5/12 FFR guides attack and capture 0.7229 on 11 June 1948, but are evicted by an Indian counterattack. As you can see, of course, the Masood and Afridis were also a failure, who were attacking from the north. As per official history of 1970, this attack took place before remaining two companies and battalion headquarters of 5/12 FF Regiment had joined the battalions. But PIFR history, always making false claims, claimed that when this attack took place, Guides Infantry battalions, remaining two companies and battalion headquarters had arrived in the area but were not employed by the brigade headquarters in the attack. This is the claim of the PIFR's history by Atikur Rahman. Meanwhile, remaining half battalion of Guides Infantry 5/12 FF joined the two companies in Titwal about 16-17 June 1948. Lieutenant Colonel Karimdad, new in the area, decided to attack 0.7229 again on 24 June 1948, but strangely decided to use only two companies for the attack. This attack on 24 June was a complete failure, as surprise was lost and the Indians engaged the two companies in the forming up place. The two companies still advanced but got stuck in the Indian minefield around 0.7229. It appears that Headquarters 10 Brigade realized that 4/16 Punjab was better suited to capture 0.7229 and 5/12 FF Guides was relieved by 4/16 Punjab on 1st July 1948 and was shifted south of Kishan Ganga River opposite the Pir Sahaba Ridge on the Panchkot Nala as the map below illustrates. As you can see, reorganized 10 Brigade defensive position from 1st July 1948. Now 5/12 FFR was again shifted south of Kishan Ganga and 4/16 Punjab was brought in its place by 10 Brigade from 1st July 1948, while 3/12 FFR was holding the southernmost position south of Kishan Ganga River. Guides Infantry was tasked to carry out a long-range raid in Kishan Ganga Valley, which was to have a decisive impact on the 4/16 Punjab attack, now famous as Battle of Chunj. Sadly, this historic raid was totally ignored by the so-called eminent PIFR historians like Atikur Rahman, or perhaps Atikur Rahman never knew its significance. I discovered this very interesting fact in 2021 while researching this battle. The Pakistani official history of 1970 was also ignorant about how decisively this Guides raid, led by just a platoon under an NCO, influenced the Titwal battle, because official history casually mentions it as having effect on morale of Muslim population. Here we are indebted to Indian official history, which was also ignorant about the real background of this raid, for at least highlighting its impact. Indian official history was also not clear, but they did highlight the impact of this raid. The Indian official history saw this raid as a well-conceived Pakistani deception plan, which was absolute nonsense, which it never actually was, that led to deployment of two companies of 3 Garhwal Rifles at Kupwara on 7 July 1948 to attack Sharda when they were most needed at Titwal on 9 July 1948, when 0.7229 was overrun and captured by 4/16 Punjab. How strangely events move in war. As you can see, I have illustrated this very interesting NCO's raid and NCO's unintended lone platoon actions influenced a brigade-size battle in June-July 1948. Havaldar Visal Muhammad of Guides Infantry makes history with only 3 raids carried out by an infantry platoon, forcing redeployment of half a battalion of Garhwal Rifles. When they were most needed at Titwal, Havaldar Visal's actions, although unintended, had a serious impact on the .7229 battle and were noted by the Indian Army official history, but ignorant Pakistani military historians simply ignored this great action. Very pathetic historians, Now Havaldar Visal destroys bridges to protect civilian population marked by a cross in red color. As you can see, he destroyed 3 bridges at Keran, Doaria and Dudnial. And this led to 3 Royal Garhwal Rifle companies being sent to Kupwara from Titwal to attack Sharda as reaction of Havaldar Visal's raid, which was not intended to be deception, reaching July 7th, and the Indian effort opposite Titwal was weakened because of the dispatch of these 2 Royal Garhwal Rifle companies. Lieutenant Colonel Atikur Rahman, who at one time was regarded by this scribe as a respectable military historian, deeply disappointed this scribe when I read his totally false and ludicrous claim that Guides Infantry captured Pir Sahaba by surprise. Atikur Rahman's ludicrous and factually incorrect claim thus read as follows, quote, "The Guides Infantry were again in action in Titwal area. By stealth, they surprised a large force and captured the most dominating feature of Pir Sahaba. This unhinged and enemy battalion size force which defended this area. Later the Guides captured .7802 as well," unquote. Now the Pakistani official history, thank God, spoke the truth and clearly stated on page 160 that Pir Sahaba etc. was abandoned by the Indian Army. It was not captured by some brilliant attack, but it was already abandoned by the Indian Army, thus stating, quote, this is the official history of Pakistan Army. Consequently, the Indians now dominated by direct and observed fire from .7229 and apprehensive of being cut off from their main base at Richmar Gully, hastily withdrew from the entire ridge, which was occupied by a Delta company of 5/12 FFR Guides without further resistance, unquote. This is exact quote from the Pakistani official history of 1970. So Atikur Rahman made a very ludicrous claim and a false claim. 4/16 Punjab's occupation of the high north bank of Kishan Ganga rendered Indian position of 1/11 Sikh Battalion untenable, thus leading to its deliberate withdrawal from the Pir Sahaba Ridge, as clearly acknowledged by Pakistani official history of 1970. Hence, there is no truth in Lieutenant General Atikur Rahman's claim in Warden of the Marches that Pir Sahaba was captured by a surprise attack, as Pakistani official history of 1970 clearly stated that Indians hastily withdrew as a result of 4/16 Punjab's occupation of northern bank of Kishan Ganga river, and Delta company of 5/12 FFR Guides occupied Pir Sahaba without further resistance. As you can see, when 4/16 Punjab under the indomitable Colonel Naushirwan took position on the northern bank of Kishan Ganga river and opened fire with all their weapons, this Indian battalion 1/11 Sikh, their position was totally untenable and they withdrew on their own. There was no attack or there was no question of 5/12 FF capturing Pir Sahaba by force. The 1/11 Sikh simply withdrew, as the Pakistani official history is very clear about that. But Atikur Rahman makes a false statement. Now, situation after 1/11 Sikh's deliberate and planned withdrawal from Pir Sahaba because of 4/16 Punjab's occupation of northern bank of Kishan Ganga, July 1948. As you can see, the Indians were forced to abandon Pir Sahaba Ridge. This was the 1/11/6, as you can see, and this is the situation. 5/12 FF Regiment was employed in an attack on Biari Ridge held by 1/11/6 on 19 July 1948, involving two of its companies. This attack was a failure and 5/12 FFR did not see any serious fighting after this in Titwal sector. It was sent back to 101 Brigade later and was deployed at Pandu at the time of ceasefire. The battalion lost total 32 killed in action, including one officer, one JCU and 30 other ranks. It lost Captain Khalid Mahmood Butt, killed as per Atikur Rahman on 26 July 1948. However, Atikur Rahman simply hoodwinked and evaded the circumstances of his death, a rather sloppy style of writing a regimental history. As a battalion, 5/12 FFR performed outstandingly, minus Atikur Rahman's massive and fallacious exaggerations about its capturing Pir Sahaba by surprise. I was very surprised to note while I was in Multan with 2FF that they were celebrating a Pir Sahaba day. But this is how military history is distorted, and in the next part we will cover the other FF regiments including 1FF etc.